A dress can tell stories, a pair of shoes can change destinies. And a movie? A movie can transform the way you see the world forever. That's exactly what happened to me the first time I watched The Devil Wears Prada. I was 21, still in college, and honestly, more focused on saving up for any designer bag than truly understanding what style really meant. But when I saw Miranda Priestly walk into that room, carrying that deafening silence that only a truly powerful woman can, something shifted. It wasn't just about fashion, it was about presence, the elegance that didn't need words. Fashion is just that, a universal language that goes beyond fabric, cut, or color. It's about stories, choices, and identity. And do you know the best stage to see this come to life? Cinema. It's no wonder that great designers like Tom Ford and Coco Chanel found in the silver screen a way to immortalize their vision. But are you truly seeing all these films have to offer? Or are you just skimming through the costumes and missing the deeper essence? Now, a quick tip. If you feel your elegance isn't quite on par with the woman you aspire to be, I have a valuable resource for you. In the pinned comment of this video, you'll find a link to my ebook, Be Elegant While Traveling: Global Etiquette for the Sophisticated Traveler. It's for those who want to turn any trip into a luxurious experience, even on a modest budget. And if you're eager to learn even more about fashion, elegance, and how to turn this knowledge into powerful tools for your life, don't forget, subscribe to the lucrative Elegance channel now. Turn on notifications so you won't miss any content designed to help you become the sophisticated woman you've always dreamed of being. And of course, leave a like, because here we know that elegance and success go hand in hand. But back to our conversation. Have you ever noticed how in cinema clothes speak? Audrey Hepburn's little black dress in Breakfast at Tiffany's isn't just a dress. It's the essence of Holly Golightly. Or how the drama in Coco Before Chanel goes beyond the challenges of the character and delves into the audacity of breaking the rules in a world that had already decided what women should wear. These films are like lessons in both fashion and life because they show that elegance isn't about how much you spend, it's about what you communicate. Now, let me ask you, what stories do you want your clothes to tell? 1. House of Gucci. When glamour masks ambition and tragedy. The story of the Gucci family begins with luxury and power, but unfolds into a tale of uncontrolled ambition and betrayals that culminate in one of the most shocking crimes in the fashion world. This film shows us that even behind one of the most coveted brands in the world, personal conflicts can be just as intense as the spotlight. At the same time, it reveals something deeper. In this case, fashion wasn't just a business. It was a battlefield of egos, where the clothes told more stories than the characters themselves. Patrizia Reggiani, Lady Gaga, is at the center of this drama. At first, she seems the epitome of perfect style, with her striking outfits and commanding presence. But as her ambition grows, her wardrobe becomes a metaphor for her thirst for control and power. Psychological studies reveal that clothing can influence behavior and even perceptions of authority, something Patrizia understands perfectly and uses to her advantage. However, her desire to belong within the Gucci empire turns her relationship with Maurizio Gucci, Adam Driver, into a dangerous game of manipulation and betrayal. Fashion, which should have been a bond between them, becomes a symbol of their disputes. This reflects a common dynamic in many relationships. When individual ambitions surpass shared goals, what once united begins to divide. The result? An empire that crumbles, proving that no amount of glamour can erase the consequences of greed. Now, think about it. What do you hope to achieve with your choices? Be they in style or in life? Are they building bridges or creating barriers? In the end, the true impact lies not just in what you wear, but in what your actions communicate. After all, even the most extravagant luxuries come at a price when not guided by solid values. The Devil Wears Prada. Elegance born from conflict. In The Devil Wears Prada, Miranda Priestly commands every scene with a power that transcends clothing. It's impossible not to notice the impeccable cut of her blazers or her Louboutin heels, but the real impact of her character lies in the balance between power and emotional control. Fashion, in this case, isn't just an accessory. It's a reflection of how Miranda built an impenetrable wall to protect her position in a highly competitive world. But think about it. Would Miranda be as impressive if she weren't challenged by Andy Sachs? The young journalist enters with a timid wardrobe and a naive view of what it means to work at runway. Yet throughout the film, Andy's transformation is reflected in her outfits. From a shapeless cardigan to a Chanel dress that screams confidence, her clothes narrate the journey of a woman discovering that style is more about purpose than trends. Studies show that over 75% of first impressions are influenced by appearance. Imagine what happens when a piece of clothing communicates something as powerful as self-confidence. This is what Miranda and Andy learned in opposite ways. Miranda had already mastered her narrative, while Andy had to overcome internal barriers to use fashion as her voice. The lesson? The conflict between these two characters teaches us that the true power of fashion lies in its ability to reveal who you are. It's like a silent battle. Your style choices can be your greatest strength or your biggest vulnerability. What are your clothes saying about you today? 3. Coco. Before Chanel. The conflict between tradition and revolution. Gabrielle Chanel grew up in an orphanage, surrounded by rigid uniforms and an environment that stifled any trace of individuality. Instead of rejecting this past, she transformed its limitations into inspiration. The austerity of the convent corridors inspired her quest for simplicity, a choice that would later defy the rules of fashion in her time. In Coco Before Chanel, this duality is evident. Coco exists in a world where corsets and excessive adornments were practically mandatory for women. However, she chose to see freedom as the true essence of style. But how do you abandon the luxury of convention without being seen as simplistic? In the 1920s, the move toward lighter, more practical clothing was driven not just by designers, but by the societal changes brought on by World War I. Chanel captured this spirit, transforming pants, straight cuts, and the iconic little black dress into symbols of women's autonomy. What might seem like a singular act of defiance was, in fact, a reflection of a collective yearning for change. Yet, the film makes it clear that revolutionizing isn't simple. Coco had to face resistance in a male-dominated environment and from those who saw fashion as mere decoration. Ultimately, the lesson lies in how she found beauty in simplicity, without sacrificing strength. How many times have you felt the need to give up what you believe in just to fit in? Isn't it time to turn your own challenges into a style that reflects who you truly are? 4. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Elegance that hides in emptiness. Holly Golightly, Audrey Hepburn's iconic character, dazzles in her Givenchy black dress and flawless pearls. We're led to believe she embodies the ideal New York lifestyle. But behind the glamour and her fascination with Tiffany's windows lies a fragmented woman searching for belonging and identity. What makes Breakfast at Tiffany's timeless is how it uses fashion to tell an emotional story. Holly's outfits are carefully chosen armor, projecting confidence while concealing her vulnerability. This contrast between appearance and essence reminds us how often fashion is used as a tool to fill emotional voids. Around 70% of people associate their clothing with their emotional state, but it can also work the other way around, as a way to mask insecurities. Holly does this masterfully. As the film progresses, we see that the emptiness she feels cannot be filled by an impeccable wardrobe or a luxurious address. But what about real life? Many women face the same dilemma. We project perfection, but are we nurturing what truly matters? When Holly finally lowers her guard, she discovers that human connection is worth far more than anything Tiffany's can offer. Are your clothes telling the story you want, or are they hiding the one you're afraid to confront? True elegance isn't just about what you wear, but about the courage to be authentic, something Holly teaches us in her journey of self-discovery. 5. Yves Saint Laurent. When fashion becomes art and risk. Yves Saint Laurent began his career at a time when haute couture was almost untouchable, governed by rigid rules and predictable aesthetics. He chose to defy the status quo with daring creations, like the women's tuxedo and the Mondrian dress. But his boldness came at a cost. The pressure for constant innovation turned his brilliance into an emotional burden, something the film explores in depth. What makes Yves Saint Laurent's story so impactful is the balance between creativity and exhaustion. He was a genius, but also a man who endured intense internal struggles. His pursuit of perfection was never just about pleasing clients. It was about expressing art and emotion through clothing. And here's the key. Is fashion merely about beauty, or can it be as powerful a form of expression as painting or music? Yves Saint Laurent's collaboration with artists like Pierre Mondrian influenced not just fashion, but also the design and architecture of the time. His creations transcended the commercial, connecting distinct worlds. But the risk of navigating between the experimental and the marketable was always present. How do you maintain a balance between innovation and acceptance? The film reveals how Yves Saint Laurent wrestled with creating trends that challenged the market while needing to remain profitable. This tension mirrors a common dilemma. To what extent should you cater to others without losing your essence? Ultimately, his pieces weren't just garments, they were reflections of his soul. And what about you? To what extent are you creating something in your life, your work, or your style that reflects who you are without fully succumbing to external expectations? Which story inspired you the most? Here's a powerful truth. Fashion in cinema is a mirror of the world and, more importantly, of who you aspire to be. But are you already mastering the secrets of using fashion to your advantage in real life? Have you stopped to think about how your knowledge of fashion can directly impact your image over the years? Elegance is timeless, but many women don't realize that certain subtle mistakes may be aging their appearance without them noticing. And I'm not just talking about wrinkles. You might know all about Coco Chanel or Yves Saint Laurent, but if your style doesn't evolve with you, it could be sabotaging your image. So here's your next step. Watch the video, Are You Aging Wrong? The solution no one talks about. There, you'll discover what might be aging your image, and of course, how to fix it with elegance and intelligence. Today, we've talked about how fashion is a powerful language, learned that style is identity, and that every choice you make, from a dress to a pair of shoes, communicates something about you. Now, the challenge is to put that into practice. If you want to achieve more success, be a truly elegant woman, and learn the secrets that great women use to transform their lives, subscribe to the lucrative Elegance channel. Turn on notifications, leave a like, because elegance is profitable. And don't forget, in the pinned comment, I've left a selection of amazing products that reflect everything we've discussed today. Take a moment to explore these pieces. They could make all the difference in your wardrobe. Comment below. Fashion is more than clothing if you enjoyed the video and share your story with me, because in the end, what you wear should always tell your story.